Hi everyone, welcome to this video. And in this video I'm going to show how to paint this beaver. So let's start with it. So here I'm showing the steps I made. So I started with sketch, then made the rough shading, added a bit of texture and added all the details. So let me show how to draw this beaver. So what I do is I take a normal brush in Photoshop and these are my settings. So these are the brush settings, transfer and shape dynamic, that's all good. And then I take a brush and I press tab to hide all the tools. So I start with a ball and then I add the big shape here. So I'm going to do a bit fast because I don't, this tutorial is not really about drawing a character like this, but I want to show a bit of all the steps. I've made some other videos about how to draw and how to make the sketch, so like this. So I'm starting with all those big shapes first. So, and I try to think in 3D. So here at this here, and then these ears, like this. So I still see some mistakes. It's good enough. So what I normally do, I first make a rough drawing, and then I start adding the final sketch lines. And I still want to keep it loose because, yeah, I'm just going to ink it anyway after this. So then, after that, I will remove the lines. And I will also show that. So just adding some of the details now here. And also here, having this. Then adding those buck teeth. So here, maybe add this chin here. And add this head. So it looks a bit different, but it doesn't really matter. So now I have this sketch. So we call this layer sketch, double click, call it sketch. So I put it in a folder, and under the folder I create a new layer and a map. You do that with these buttons. So I call this map color. And let's call this map beaver. So now I will, with the lasso tool that is here, so I take this lasso tool, with the round one, I will start drawing in the shape. And now I'm drawing in the shape, but when I press Alt, and I can create these long lines. And when I'm drawing again, it makes it more organic. So release for the shape, take a gray tone or do it here, the color thing. And then I make a new layer. So I put the brush, put transfer on, so it's a hard brush. So, and for some reason, I can't make my brushes bigger. Yeah, now it works. With the brackets, I make my brush bigger, smaller or bigger. So here, drawing these eyes. And I think they're a bit too light, so I press Ctrl U and I make them a bit lighter, like this. Drawing in the pupils, making those almost black. I don't go 100% black, but still a bit under it. So adding the eyebrows, making those dark gray. Adding a nose, like this. And fill that. And sometimes I draw the outline, so let me show that. So what I do is now I take a bit of lighter color and I make a full shape, like here. Also behind the nose where we don't see it. So it's a closed shape. Taking this eraser, making it smaller. And I fill it with paint bucket tool, that's G, or you can use, also see it in the toolbar. So fill that. Also make a color under it. Now take the lasso tool, and yeah, it's just I'm using a mix of the lasso tool and the brush tool. For shapes that are simple and sharp, I use the lasso tool, and for shapes that are more organic and a bit more complex, I use the brush. So you should try out what you find. So now I have these colors, and I do this because I first want to add the color, so I don't have to worry about color. I just can create these shapes on separate layers, and I create them on separate layers because that makes it a bit easier to to color in this step. So now when you press V, you have the select tool, and then Control, you can select these shapes. So now I take a soft brush, transfer on, and here I have now this layer selected, and I press this button, and now I can paint in that button, like almost like it's a mask. So now here I already made the colors there, but here I take these colors. So hue, saturation, and brightness. Hue is the color, saturation is the strongness, intensity of the color, saturation, and bright stands for brightness. I often call it value. So I'll take this. So I have this color and make it a bit lighter, and see if that works. And then I paint in the light. So the light is coming from the top right. So here, so this should be a bit dark, like here. Just paint in the basic shading here a bit. Maybe the bridge nose a bit like this, and so yeah. And there's also some light bounces off the ground, so there's also some light here. That gives it that depth. Make it a bit darker again, so make here. So then I select a different color, different shape, so also color that, and also this shape here. And also add some light here and here. So just making the big shading first. So making that a bit darker here. And then we give that nose color here and here. So making this a bit light. And there's some cast shadow from the nose. Making a bit dark color. Making a bit lighter here. So it's okay for now. So here, shadow, light. So is this all good? Let's make this a bit yellow because that white is really too intense. Then adding a bit of shading here and there. A bit of white here, a bit of white here, and shading here and there. Then let's do the nose. So a bit of shading here and there. And okay, it's okay now because I don't want to put too much time in it. And now the next step is you can check it by turning the lines on or off. So sometimes I turn off the lines, and then I start adding some details, like the eyelashes, and that I do with a hard brush, like here. And now it's really rough because I just want to make a quick video, so you get an idea on how to do it. So here I take a dark color, and I also brush in here the shape. And if you want to have smooth lines, you can use the smoothing in Photoshop. So here and in this part, because this, I think this is good if it's a bit darker, and so on. So I keep adding some details. So maybe it's good to show how to make this nose a bit harder. So I put transfer on, put the hardness on 100, because then I can create these hard shapes. So make this a bit darker, maybe make this nose a bit purple. So I'm just painting on top of it here, and then you get these sharp corners. You see here, get this sharp corner there. So, and then create this highlight here, so you get this shape there. So I'm just, yeah, drawing it in a bit. That hole in the nose needs to be the darkest, so I'll make this dark, and so on. So so this basically is switching between a hard and a soft brush. So here, make this okay, like that. Here, make this stood. So I just keep adding stuff until I have something like that. So let me talk a bit about the hairs. So I take decent big brush, and I just, with the Alt tool, if you have the brush tool selected and you press Alt, you get this eyedropper tool. So it's eye on your keyboard, and then here this icons. But you can also go on the, when you have your brush and you press Alt, you see it. So what I do is I take these colors and I draw in these hairs. So a lot of my textures are drawn in, so something like this here. So I just draw in those shapes, and depending on the style, you can go nuts on it. So here, adding. Make this a bit darker. So here, some here, maybe here, a bit of this here, eyelid, and just keep adding it. And it's just basically putting in the time in it. So and basically this step, it's just going just adding more and more stuff. So I brush in all these details, so like this, and then I add some hairs here. And sometimes I just make a layer on top of it all, and I keep adding stuff there on top of it. So yeah, that's that. Let me also add some irises. Talk a bit about drawing the color in the eye. So then I take a really bright green, and I draw in these irises like this here. Turn this again on, and then a light passes through the lens to the bottom, so you get that light placed there, and then you put on some highlight here and here. And what I also sometimes do is take a soft brush, brushing in this thing here, and then erase part of it here and here, so you get this glassy look on the eyes. So yeah. So what I often do is, when I'm almost finished, I take all these layers or this folder, duplicate it, merge it down with Ctrl E, make selection of that, put it here, and put this here. Here you can make a mask, and then I take soft brush, and you can add some more different effects, like overlay, for example. You can use white, or you can maybe use yellow or different color. You could also add some more color here, some reflective second light, make a new layer, put it on multiply. And shadows, I often use a light purplish color on multiply for some extra shadow. So you get this bit cold shadows or cold warm shadows. So here, adding this a bit to get more depth into it. And all those hairs are drawn in. So also, you can also make a hard line, like an rim light. Here, put this on color dodge, take a yellow, and then I draw on top of it here. So something like this. So there's some secondary backlight. You can give it a different color. So here with this this UE saturation tool, you get by Control U, you can make the different colors and look what you like. So maybe something like this. I don't really like it with the nose, so let's delete it. The biggest part maybe here. So that is basically how I draw this beaver and how I. But yeah, it took me a couple of hours to really paint this like that. So it's just an amount of time and using this technique. And you can watch on some other videos I did where I talk a bit about this, about some of the things a bit more in depth. And if you like this tutorial, you can also see my Patreon page. There I go. There I give weekly lessons of 1 hour, where I also give feedback. And you can see the link under this video for more information about it. If you join this month, you get this ebook for free with the first subscription month. It's about drawing backgrounds. And on my Patreon are more than 20 videos of 2 hours, so there's a lot of content to look there. You can also get one of my ebooks on Gumroad, and there's also a link under this video you can check out. So here's a book about drawing tips. There's 1 hour video attached to it, or on how to paint, more in-depth video with PSD and some basic brushes. Anatomy, also an ebook plus a video of 1 hour, sketchbooks, and how to start figure drawing, also with video. So if you like this video, yeah, please like and subscribe, and let me know in a comment what you would like to see next as a video tutorial. So thanks for joining, and I hope to see you next time. Cheers!